Hi guys, MrRoflWaffles here. I wasn't really planning on uploading today, but seeing as Treyarch's Zombies Chronicles stream on Monday is ever approaching, I felt like it might be a good idea to get this done now. Essentially, earlier today, I had an idea. It was an idea related to a change Treyarch could make regarding the Easter eggs in Zombies Chronicles that I feel like would be really damn fresh. I think it would be so bloomin' cool if they did something like this, okay? Hear me out. What if... Actually, no, let's not start there. Let's start it this way. I'm sure many of you remember, but I'm also sure that many of you don't because you've probably never actually played it, that on Moon, in Black Ops 1 Zombies, you get midway through the Easter egg, you're going for that cryogenic slumber party, and what ends up happening is Samantha pops out of the MPD. Now, seeing as throughout Black Ops 3 Zombies we have heard more and more about the history of Samantha being in the MPD and the dark ether and the corruption that it brings with it and the swapping of souls that we've got here, there and everywhere and all sorts of stuff, because of that we have a fairly solid idea of the fact that there is a greater evil than you lying here or something, which is what Sam says to Richtofen, and that greater evil was the Shadow Man, was the Apothicon Menace, as I like to call it, okay? And so, I was thinking, just as Sam pops her way out of the MPD in the Moon Easter egg, wouldn't it be interesting if instead we ended up in a scenario where the pyramid begins to open, you've got effects going crazy everywhere, maybe the room is shaking, maybe some other crazy stuff's going on, super epic music, and then, just out of the MPD kind of opening, out of that glowing gap, you just see a massive tentacle, like, flop its way out, plonk onto the side of that sort of area of the moon, and suddenly you've got a whole new menace ready to attack you throughout the map and do crazy stuff, I don't know. What if, instead of it being Samantha, you ended up with the Shadow Man just peeping his way over the top and going, "Oh, hello. Wasn't expecting to see you here. Let's party." Like, who knows? They could go so many different directions and play with the idea of bringing the Apothicon influence into that map. And I know that it's not necessarily something that a lot of you would all like, because some people didn't really like the Apothicon inclusion in Black Ops 3. I feel like it's basically par for the course at this point. Like, we have to be used to it because it's just going to keep on happening throughout the future games, I'm suspecting. And so part of me just thinks that would be really cool. Like, imagine if there was almost like a little mini boss fight in that room. Like, some kind of tentacles spring out of the MPD, they close off the exit, so you have to stay in there, and it's obviously anti-gravity is active there right now, or rather not anti-gravity, but low gravity is active in that area, and so you'd have to like sort of bounce around and like fight some kind of crazy boss coming out of the MPD. Like, there are so many possibilities, and I just figured, like, it's quite a good representation of my hopes and dreams for this map pack. Wouldn't it be cool if they just basically pushed the boat out and actually really fully redesigned the Easter eggs? Like, or even not necessarily fully, but if they took Easter egg steps that had already been solved many a year ago, and then kind of pushed them just a little bit further, or extended the eggs themselves just a little bit further. Like, I would love that so much, because at the end of the day, if everything's the exact same, like Jason's been going on about the fact that it's a true sort of recreation, and it's an homage to those previous maps, and it's not like they're trying to sort of step on the past so much as just bring the past into the present and really do it justice. That's something that Jason is really set on. I still feel like it would just be so awesome if we got some crazy extension to some eggs or something. I mean, I'm sure there are going to be small Easter eggs that they add in, but something like that. Some kind of beat switch where you're expecting Samantha and then the Shadow Man comes out, or even Samantha rises out of the MPD and then explodes or something into this swirling mass of dark energy, and the Shadow Man's in there, and it's like, oh no, like the same kind of transition you get in Shadows where you see the Shadow Man in his humanoid form and then he suddenly pops into this weird alien creature mode. Like, I just feel like there's a lot of potential there, and I'd like you guys in the comments down below to suggest some other scenarios where you think a similar thing could happen. So For example, maybe the Ascension Easter egg. You get towards the end, you're working on that Casimir mechanism, and then something happens, and some crazy events end up taking place. We could even, for example, go and see ourselves in a cutscene going from Ascension to Shangri-La, or going from Kino to Ascension on the lander. Like, there are so many possibilities for little things they could do, like adding cutscenes, adding endings to Easter eggs, adding some boss fights, who knows, that I think would be awesome. Now, simultaneously, just to sort of set expectations, I think the likelihood is that those things are not done because they are trying to be really, really sort of honouring the originals as much as possible, and so I feel like something like that might change the game in a way that they don't really want to be supporting. But it would be really cool in my opinion. It's just something that I think is a cool idea, and it would be interesting for the story implications as well, especially in the light of getting that timeline. So, let me know what you think of this, guys, and let me know of any suggestions you have for other scenarios where they could kind of tweak the timeline a little bit and bring us into a whole new world. Thanks for watching, like I've said. I've been MrRoflWaffles, and I'll see you next time. Leave a like, by the way, as well. Bye-bye.